District Board of Education meeting to order at this time. We will start with a moment of silence and Pledge of Allegiance, please. Thank you. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so the next item on our agenda is items of interest, recognition, and inquiry. Board of Education members, and I'd like to just start with something. 15 days now until our March 10th presidential primary and the vote for the bond. And I'd like to publicly thank everyone for all of their hard work on getting us this far again. It has been a very lengthy, very in-depth process, and we couldn't have gotten to this point without the tireless efforts of so many people, from staff to community members to the students. I said it before, and I meant it. You are all the unsung heroes, and we appreciate you. And Mrs. Cybula, I can't thank you enough for your tireless efforts and your positive attitude and willingness to answer any and all questions until every last person has gotten their answers. Back in 2015, we started working on a strategic plan that would seek and use the input of the community, staff, teachers, parents, and district stakeholders. There were 5 top priorities identified by this focus group, which were upgrade mechanical and electrical systems, update instructional technology, reduce the number of facilities to lower operating costs, create secure school environments, and create collaborative learning spaces. The scope of the work to address these 5 priorities was ranged at between $48 and $127 million. The 2016 bond proposal was for $48 million. That bond did not pass. In 2018, using the data from the 2015 study, a new strategic planning committee was formed, and as this committee did their work and made the recommendation to the board to create a comprehensive building plan that also included community input, the bond steering committee was eventually formed. And as the work of this committee began, which now included pretty much everyone, parents, business owners, community leaders, residents, students, grandparents, teachers, administrators, and so many other caring district employees, they worked tirelessly for many months, and they presented the board with the bond proposal that was on the May 2019 ballot, which also addressed the original 5 top priorities because these needs have not changed. And it also included a consolidated high school and middle school campus. That proposal was for $148 million, but the community did not agree, and that bond did not pass. So here we are again. The needs of the district have not gone away. While we have reduced the number of our buildings, the rest of them just continue to age, some components so obsolete we can't even find parts for them. As we continue to get further and further behind in technology, so do our students. And as our enrollment continues to decline, so do the opportunities we can afford our students. There are kids, these students, there are kids. The entrances to our buildings haven't gotten any security updates, so our children aren't any safer. And at the end of the day, isn't this who this is really all about? I mean, who is this all for? Who are these buildings for? They're not for me, they're not for us, they're not for any of you unless you work for the district. No, they're for the youth of our community, from the littlest 2- and 3-year-olds to the graduating seniors. They are the future of our community, and I don't know about you, but I feel like they deserve the very best we can give them. Every decision I make as a board member, I make based on what I believe to be in the best interest of kids, and passing a bond is so important for our kids in order to be successful. The bond committee listened to the community feedback and has structured this current bond proposal based on that information while still addressing the original 5 priorities because those needs have not changed. I so encourage you to get to any information session if you haven't already been to one. Please get the information for yourself. Don't rely on hearsay or social media, but find out exactly what is being proposed so that you too can vote on March 10th for what's best for our kids. Thank you. Mrs. Cybula, later today, can you please go over the upcoming bond presentation schedule?
I sure will.
Okay. Any other board members that would like to make any comments?
I would.
I just want to say, I don't think I can think of anything else to say. You've covered it all. This is for our kids. So thank you.
Thank you.
So I'd just like to say something. You know, after years of cutting, closing, and complaining, I believe we're on the cusp of realizing some great opportunities. I mean, financial security is within reach. An opportunity to bring much greater focus on academics and student development is within reach. To position ourselves to bring our current staff the best facilities and tools to do their job is within reach. An opportunity to draw the best and brightest future professionals is within reach. Lastly, I believe that no matter what bond proposal is presented, there's always going to have to be a compromise. And, you know, no matter how you evaluate it, there's always going to be two sides. But this gives us the opportunity to transition our focus from talking about empty seats to actually spending time talking about the ones that are full. So.
Thanks, Mike. Thank you. Anybody else? Mrs. Cybula.
Yes, I just wanted to take a minute to welcome our East China School District Kids Connection program. They are now here at Central Office as they have moved out of Eddy Elementary, and it is so nice to have them here and see them each and every day. So welcome Kids Connection over to Central Office. And then, of course, I just wanted to take a minute to remind everyone to vote on March 10th as well.
Thank you. Okay, the next item on our agenda is special recognition, the East China School District Endowment Fund Grants. Mr. Michael Domagowski and Jessica Becker.
Thank you. Superintendent Cybula, President Frank, members of the board, and community members listening, watching, and here tonight. Mike Domagowski, I'm humbled to chair the East China Educational Foundation, a wonderful organization of people just, out to do good. So I don't want to talk too much. I want to get right into it. However, I do have one little thing that did happen last month, actually this month. Holy cow, it's still February. It is February. We had the Chili Heart Run. That is one of our fundraisers that we run. I see a couple kids going, yeah, that was cool. A lot of kids this year, and we had almost 200 registrants. So thank you all for registering. And I do have a sign behind me here for the people that are in the audience of all the sponsors as well. So thank you all to the sponsors. But we had a great turnout. Great turnout. It was outstanding. So thank you so much. We're very excited about that turnout on February 8th. So a little bit about the foundation. We're an endowment fund through the Community Foundation of St. Clair County with the Spring 2020 awards. These are these awards here. Over $168,000 has been given out in grants. In 2020, Spring Grant Award recipients, the grants ranging from $100 to $750, you'll hear those here in the next minute or two, will be awarded tonight for a total of $5,230.27. The first grant that we are going to award is to Brad Robbins from St. Clair Middle School. Brad will be purchasing swivel stools for the science labs at St. Clair Middle School. The next one is for Marnie Williams at Marine City High School. Marnie will be purchasing a movable art display to display student art throughout the building. The next grant recipient is Lisa Kane from Pine River Elementary School. Lisa will be purchasing supplies for the Links program. The next grant awarded tonight is to Jessica Jones, Darcy Schneider, and Christina Malberg of Pine River Elementary School. Kindergarten teachers at Pine River will be purchasing a Nature Hop Sensory Path. And if you have not seen those are very, very cool. We have Sherry Becker receiving a grant from Marine City High School. Sherry will be purchasing a traveling desk with an accessory bin for her teaching staff. Kelly Robbins is receiving a grant from Pine River Elementary School. Kelly will be purchasing books for her technology classroom library. And once again, Kelly Robbins, come on back up from Bell River Elementary School. Kelly Kelly will be purchasing growing materials for a project connected to the learning standards in 4th grade. Kelly, keep on applying for those grants. We see you a lot. Twyla Waite, Riverview East High School. Twyla will be purchasing art supplies for a large community project that students will participate in. Thank you, Mr. Steyer. Chris Ming from Marine City Middle School, principal there. He'll be purchasing materials to enhance the character development of students through the building of relationships in the Positivity Project. Joan Rosel of St. Clair Middle School. Joan will be purchasing materials that will support the health curriculum. Lisa Higgins of St. Clair High School is receiving a grant tonight. Lisa will be using the grant award towards the monthly Links Seminar social activities and t-shirts for the students participating in the program. Lori Hannon from St. Clair Middle School is receiving a grant. Lori will be purchasing 2 drawing light boxes, modeling dough, flexi-blocks, manipulative jumbo block, building blocks set, wow, that's a tongue twister, and wooden block sets. A lot of exciting things for art. So on behalf of the East China Educational Foundation, congratulations to all of our 2020 grant recipients. Anyone at any time can make donations. The Community Foundation of St. Clair County or the East China Educational Foundation, you can send your checks right to East China School District, and we're happy to take them. So thank you and congratulations to everyone. Board members together.
Okay, the next item on our agenda is Academic Spotlight. Pine River Elementary School, Dr. Rachel Card, principal, will be presenting the Winter After School Enrichment Program.
Good evening, Superintendent Cybula, President Frank, members of the board, and everyone in attendance this evening. We are excited to share with you the Pine River Winter After School Enrichment Program. The program has been in effect at Pine River for at least 20 years in one form or another, but this year it is especially fun and interesting through the hard work of 6 parents who will be highlighted in our presentation. However, you don't have to take that word from me. You can ask the students who will be presenting tonight, including students who participate in the program and students who serve as instructors.
January is when the winter jaw jumps set in. Most kids are thinking, what is it to do on a great winter day? It is miserable outside and I am bored and I am going crazy in this house. Just when there's nothing to do outside, the winter enrichment packet is sent home from school. We're so excited. Everyone quickly picks their classes and brings their registration forms back to school right away.
Here is an overview of the program. The coordinator is Mrs. Eifert, and she is helped by my mom, Mrs. Phelps, Mrs. Oliaga, Mrs. Franks, and Mrs. McNabb.
The program lasts for 5 weeks. The average cost per class is $20. There are 226 students enrolled. 131 students have 1 class, 85 students have 2 classes, and 10 students have 3 classes. There are 24 classes. We have 47 parent volunteers who help students get to class, support the instructors, and make sure they are signed out to their parents.
Here are all the classes. We have everything from crafts to cake decorating to sports. There's something for everyone, no matter what they are interested in.
My name is Gwen. My favorite class is cake decorating because I like to be creative and eat frosting. My name is Aiden. My favorite class is flag football because I like hanging out with my friends.
My name is Nina, and my favorite class is Harry Potter. I like it because we've made wands, potions, and silly creatures.
My name is Gavin. My favorite class is flag football because I like to play sports and hang out with my friends.
My name is Weston. My favorite class is music because we get to recreate food things like on the TV show.
My name is Henry. My favorite class is Lego Robotics because I like building robots.
That's cool.
The classes are taught by Pine River parents, grandparents, and East China Middle School and High School students and community members. Here are some of the student instructors to share their thoughts about the program.
Hello, my name is Erica Kamari, and I am a member of the senior class at St. Clair High School, and I teach board games. When I was in elementary school, I didn't personally take part in this program, but I had friends that did, and they all loved it. So once I got old enough to actually teach in this program, I thought I would love to try it. And this is my first year, and I think having students teach it to the elementary kids is good for both groups socially, because it's not just looking up, this is so-and-so's mom or dad teaching it. It's actually the younger kids getting time to spend with the older kids and the groups mingling. And as I go into the adult world, it helps me interact socially with younger kids as well as the older kids.
Hi, my name is Mara, and I'm in 9th grade, and I teach the Harry Potter class. And I love going to the school and teaching because I get to see the kids, and it's just so fun, and I get to have fun with something that I enjoy, and also the kids enjoy as well. And I just love teaching the class. This is my first year doing it, and I just find it so fun.
Hello, my name is Trevor Soweski. Back in 2012, me and my buddy Bo, we took basketball after school in Richmond. And I thought it was a great program. I had a lot of fun. My coach or instructor was Zach Tanton. He's now the JV basketball coach at Port Huron. I thought it was really cool because I got to meet a lot of my best friends that I have now today. And yeah.
I think it really benefits that the students teach the class, because then they look up to role models who are currently in the school. It's not like that's an old guy who knows basketball. and I feel like they bond more with a high school student more than a parent or grandparent.
If you didn't see the board, that was them in 2012 and them now. See? So they were just the little guys, and now they're the big guys teaching the class. It's pretty neat. Hi, my name is Natalie Eifert. I'm one of the coordinators of the program. Myself, along with these lovely ladies here, have spent a lot of time and work putting this program together. And it's been awesome and rewarding to see all of the students, all the teachers, their faces light up with every single program that they participate in. We have lots of pictures online, and the kids are excited to see the pictures later that night because we post everything. But it was our goal as a team to make sure that this program was affordable to all the students and that we had a wide array of classes. And I think we did it this year. We have a lot of fun classes. We have had an overwhelming response to a lot of the classes. So we had lots of students interested in many, many of the classes. Our teachers, as you can see here, are from all walks of life. We even have old basketball teachers teaching classes, but not basketball. They are teaching basketball. So it's fun to have the students look up to not only students, but community members too, and other moms. Most of us moms that ran the program are also teaching a class in the program. So that's fun. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, let us know. But it's been a really fun year, fun program.
Do you have any questions?
Any questions?
Thanks to all of you for your time and your efforts, from an old geezer to you young. This is really great. I really appreciate it. I'm sure the whole board does too. Thank you. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it.
These classes are offered each day after school, right? Every day of the week, there's a different option.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, you're busy.
And the hardest thing is picking, you can only pick two. You have to find the two. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You know, we can take a couple minutes at this time if you guys would like to go ahead and take off for the evening. Thank you again so much for coming. At this time, we're going to move on to our consent agenda. A motion is needed for the approval of minutes from our regular Board of Education meeting on January 27th, approval of payment of bills, the financial statement, and schedule of investments. So moved. Support. Any comments or questions? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. The next item on our agenda is recognition of persons wishing to address the board. This portion of the agenda is for citizens to address any questions or comments to the board. The board will listen, take comments and questions under advisement, and not respond at this time. Your questions will be referred to the superintendent for research and response. As your name is called, please limit your comments to under 5 minutes and begin with your name and address as you're called to the center microphone. My first green card is Sarah Schumann.
My name is Sarah Schuneman, and I live at 6305 Bell River Road. Good evening to you all, and thanks for hearing my comments tonight. My concern is with the transportation that my daughter has been receiving since starting in East China. She's now a first grader, but she was also here in kindergarten. And routinely, if there's a substitute bus driver, she's about 30 to 40 minutes late getting home. And her bus ride is already an hour long, which for a country kid, that's par for the course, I get it. But the kicker was this year she's already had 2 instances with a 2-hour-long bus ride getting home from school. So the first time this happened was in October. She was riding Route 15G. Palms does dismiss at 3:39 p.m., and she was not home until about 6 p.m. At this time, there was just a handful of young kids left on the bus, 5, 6, and 7-year-olds. And keep in mind, these kids have tiny stomachs and very small bladders. And through the story that my daughter told me, it really broke my heart. She said her little friend was actually under the seat crying, terrified, saying, "We're never going to get home. Our bus is never going to get us home." And as a mom, that really, my heart went out to her. So I know it might even seem silly as an adult that a student would say the bus would never get them home, but in this little girl's eyes, she was terrified that they were going to be on the bus forever. That night, I actually had to text her den leader for Cub Scouts and say, "I'm very sorry, we're going to be late for our 6 p.m. meeting because my daughter is still on the bus. I know you're not going to believe it, but it's true." The second time this happened was just a few weeks ago, and this was February 7th. This was a different bus route. This was Route 18B, and it was just the same story. There's a sub bus driver, and she didn't get home till about 6 p.m. In both of these instances, I had been in contact with the bus garage, and everyone was doing their best, I understand, but they were really unable to give us information about where the bus was. And as a mom, I, for the first time, was starting to panic about my daughter's well-being in the hands of a stranger with just a few kids left on the bus and really no way of knowing where she was and when she was going to get home. The other thing that had been going on is, in both of these instances, was the drivers were having to rely on the kids to get them home. I even had a bus driver give my daughter homework as a 5-year-old, saying that she needed to write her address 5 times when she got home, and my daughter's a rule follower, so she did. But these drivers having to rely on 5- and 6-year-olds to give them their address and direct them home has made their rides even longer. My daughter actually routed the driver completely the wrong direction on my road and made her ride very long on February 7th. Bottom line is, it's been 2 school years, 2 different bus routes, multiple sub-bus drivers. At this point, we can't blame the substitute bus drivers. I feel like there has to be some sort of better plan that we can give them, routes, directions, whatever. I would be willing to serve on a committee, volunteer, if it was needed to look into maybe what are other districts doing that are working better. I don't know if it's just an isolated incident with the Palms buses or if other buses are having these issues. But I really feel like the safety of our kids is worth looking into. And I really thank you for your time listening to my comments. Thanks.
Thank you. Next green card is Christy Nichols.
Hi, I'm Christy Nichols. I live at 919 Thornapple. Members of the ECEA were asked to share the exciting and extraordinary things that have been happening in their classroom for this month. On behalf of the teachers, I would like to share them with you. Kate Fox, Scott Fryer, Stephen Fox, and Micah Volz from both high schools and middle schools shared this. On Tuesday and Wednesday, February 25th and 26th, the 7th to 12th grade bands from Marine City and St. Clair will be performing at the PAC for their annual festival clinic. The bands welcome Professor Damian Krucher from Wayne State University and Dr. Trey Harris from Western Michigan University as guest clinicians for the bands over 2 days. The band students will perform on stage and receive immediate feedback and actually work with the clinicians following their performances. Performance times are 9:30 and 10 a.m. and 2:20 and 1:10, both days open to the public. Lori Hannon and Marnie Williams of St. Clair Middle School, Marine City Middle School, and Marine City High School Art. Approximately 90 artists from St. Clair Middle, Marine City Middle, and Marine City High have their work on display in the 52nd Annual Beatrice Thornton Student Art Exhibit at the SC4 Fine Arts Gallery. The exhibit runs from February 24th to March 7th. The reception is February 27th from 4 to 6. Cynthia Jarsma at Riverview says that students from Riverview East High School have been participating in the Vocabulary Bowl sponsored by Vocabulary.com. We are competing in Division III high schools with 500 students or less. Riverview East High School has about 100 students with about 25 students participating each trimester. Currently, we are in 18th place for Michigan and 406th for the country in our division. Sherry Kemp, Norma Pringle, and Pam Schneider, second grade Gearing. The second grade at Gearing Elementary planned and organized a community service project as part of their social studies curriculum and positivity project. The community service project was called Caring for Kids. On Friday, February 21st, 2020, students from Gearing Elementary brought in new toys for the Children's Hospital of Michigan DMC. The Caring for Kids community service brought over 300 new toys for sick children at the hospital. The students worked together to show other people matter and how to support others when they struggle. Molly Reed and Val Cabanilla, first grade at Palms. First graders at Palms recognized the 100th day of school by predicting where 100 steps out of the classroom door would take them, learning hopscotch and counting forward and backward to 100 by 10s, constructing with materials of 100 such as Legos, pipe cleaners, and decks of cards. Dana Wilson, Kika Milligan, and Brett Nowakowski, East China Elementary Art. The elementary art teachers in East China will be showcasing their students' artwork in the St. Clair Art Association Art Festival, February 25th to March 10th. A whole bunch of, okay, that's not fair if I don't name them. Nicole Flynn, Kristen Humble, Michelle Natchke, Brett Nowakowski, and Jessica Simmons, the language teachers. The ECSD International Festival is scheduled for this Wednesday at Gearing from 6 to 8 p.m. with about 20 countries represented. Jay McCullough from Marine City High School. Mariner Drama traveled to 3 drama festivals in February with 2 productions. One of the 2 productions moved on to the State Theater Festival at Avondale High School, where it received glowing reviews. At both regional and state theater festival, there were over 40 individual superior and excellent awards given to our students. And Michelle Davis, Early Childhood Special Education. On Friday, February 21st, students from Baker College's Dental Hygiene School came to visit the preschoolers. They taught them about proper brushing and dental care, good foods and bad foods for teeth, and even brought them their own goodie bags with toothbrushes and toothpaste. The visit from the hygienist was a culmination of Dental Health Month. That's all I got.
Thank you. My next green card is Jeff Cook.
Good evening. Could I use the side podium? It would be easier for me just to, that's fine. I can stand right here, no problem. Jeff Cook, my address is 4654 Indian Trail. It's in China Township. Just here because I wanted to speak one last time before the election at a meeting where I know not everybody's on Facebook or on social media, and sometimes this meeting, watching it on Channel 6, might be one of the only areas where they get knowledge or get any feedback about what's going on. I don't certainly want to overstep what I think was very positive that the board members said at the beginning of the meeting when they had their opportunity to address the bond. My biggest thing is I continue to see out, and when I talk to people in the community, we see these huge signs that talk about propaganda and special interests and what all that means. And I think a lot of people are confused and think that the district has money pouring in from outside sources that are funding all these flyers and information that's going out to the people in our community. And the truth is that's just not a fact. That's not true. There are not special interests. And I guess at the last meeting I even said, my special interest is my almost 17-year-old daughter who's a junior at St. Clair High School and her education, as well as the kids of my community that live down the street and across the road and all those things. So it's frustrating when it's out there that it seems like the district is receiving some type of special boost behind closed doors or in these secret meetings that are often talked about by one particular individual, mostly on Facebook and social media. And I can go without even saying his name because we all know who I'm talking about. But saying things like, just like this, the East China School District brings in more local tax revenue than any other school district in the area. East China School District has bought more in funding each year despite the declining numbers of students. When somebody hears that, and then they look at a quick graph that's separated out with numbers large enough to really skew the way the bar graph looks, so it looks like it's more than it really is. When somebody hears that, they sometimes have a hard time understanding how can it be that they're bringing in all this extra money and they're asking for a bond to build stuff. What is failed to mention when that goes out that way is that all the money that DTE sends in and all the money that I send in and you send in and everybody else who's a taxpayer in our school district sends in, it doesn't go into a big pot in the financial office in the East China School District. It goes to the state of Michigan. And then the state of Michigan divvies that money out, and they do it on a per pupil basis. And what this young man can't wrap his head around is the difference between per pupil based funding and tax revenue. They're not the same thing. Yes, we do bring in a ton of tax revenue. Part of that has to do with our geographical footprint here in the district. That's why we bring so much revenue in, but we don't keep that money in our coffers. We don't get to pull our money out first. We get our money after the fact, just like every other school does in the state of Michigan. But he would have you believe that because of DTE, that's the only reason that we have so much money, and if DTE closes down, and so I refuted a point that it's well known that the DTE plants are on schedule. In fact, they are ahead of schedule. One has already said they're going to close down early. The new one's going to open early. So the gap that is out there about possibly losing funding in tax dollars from DTE, it's not there. DTE has come out and said they've already made a commitment to this community. There is another power plant, another community, where they are going to be leaving that community. But DTE has strongly said that they are going to remain in our community, and they are going to continue to be a vibrant part of our East China School District. And I think it's really poor that then somebody decides he's going to throw it in the face of DTE for saying, hey, maybe we can come in and create some relationships with the school district. They're reaching out to the school district to create these relationships so that they can better the community. Not because they have something in their back pocket or that they're going to build somebody a really nice office. I hear about all these fancy things and that the district's just waiting to be able to spend their money on all these fancy things. And yet every time I come into a school building or I walk into central office here, it's a beautiful building. It's clean, it's well kept up, but it certainly is not fancy. I mean, legitimately, the room that we're standing in right now is probably the fanciest room in the entire East China School District. And it should be. It's a boardroom. It's a meeting where very important things take place. But down in this office down here, there's a desk and a chair, and there's a desk and a chair. It isn't fancy. There isn't money being spent on window dressing and things to make things look more beautiful. The district has appropriately spent money that is received from the state of Michigan. It is our responsibility as citizens in this community to step up and take care of our responsibility to our kids and our community and pass this bond. So I just want to remind everybody and invite everybody on March 10th to make sure that you get out and vote. I'm a yes vote. I'll stand up here and say that proudly, and I'm hoping that most of the people that come out on March 10th are going to be yes votes because our kids, our district, and our communities need this. They need it. It's our turn to pay it forward. So I believe that that's what we need to do as a community. Thank you.
Thank you. The next item on our agenda is information discussion items. The superintendent update will be on the bond presentation. Excuse me. No, I'm sorry. I didn't receive a green card. Mrs. Cybula?
Good evening, President Frank, members of the board. At your locations, at your seats tonight, I have my superintendent performance evaluation calendar. It is time for me to give you an update in that calendar. We are on the February 24th update. And what I'm going to be working on or updating you this evening is on my goal area number 4, which is the superintendent will work with the East China School Board and community through a bond effort to create a long-term facility and grade configuration vision for grades K through 12 that provide optimal learning environments for students in a cost-effective manner. And in this goal area, we are down at the bottom. It's the second page of the sheet in front of you, where it's campaign for the bond effort, school bond committee. It says currently in progress. I'd like to give you just a quick update on the campaign progress. So, starting, let's see, right before January 25th, we sent out the absentee voter mailing. A postcard mailer to all residents was sent out in East China School District. We had 2 coffees with the superintendent. One of them was in Marine City. One of them was in St. Clair, and I'd like to thank Drifters Restaurant and the Riviera Restaurant for hosting those Coffee with the Superintendent sessions. Starting on January 6th through March 5th, I will have given 43 presentations to staff, parents, community members, PTOs, Rotaries, and civic groups. We did a Dateline Schools interview with the St. Clair County RISA that will begin running this week. We did 2 local radio interviews. We announced Bond 2020 in the December 16th edition of the District Weekly Newsletter, and updates have been in each weekly newsletter since that time. And there is also a Bond 2020 Just the Facts Facebook page to share specific bond information. So that's an update on the campaign part of the bond effort in this goal area number 4. And now I just want to do a real quick, I'm not going to go through the whole bond presentation, but I just wanted to share a couple slides, the first few slides of the bond presentation. The first one is in reference to what President Frank was talking about at the beginning of the board meeting, of those 5 identified priority areas and the 2 bonds that from 2016 and 2019 that did not pass. And this slide is referencing the fact that we regrouped and listened to our community. We had a survey, we had many conversations, committees talking about what our community was telling us with these bonds that were not passing. We looked at the analysis of our voter turnout, and what we learned from these conversations and from these surveys and the voter turnout is that from the May 2019 bond, that there was a discomfort with the consolidation of the high schools and middle schools to one location, but that our community agreed and understood the need for our infrastructure, our aging buildings, our aging technology, and our security upgrades. Those needs were agreed with in our community. Our community also expressed desire to preserve and expand our opportunities for students. So even though we're declining in the number of students, our community wants us to continue to expand the opportunities for all of our students. So with Bond 2020, we listened. The 2 high schools will remain at their current locations and be 612 campuses. Our infrastructure, technology, security upgrades are going to remain the focus of our 2020 bond program. And we have an exciting opportunity for our students to expand offerings within the East China School District by building some STEM, STEAM flexible classrooms here at the Meisner location. And the overall bond scope was reduced by 25%, thus reducing the impact to taxpayers. That was another part of the feedback we received from our community, that they want us to look at the scope of the bond. So the focus areas: technology upgrades, student safety enhancements, opportunities for our students, infrastructure upgrades, operational efficiencies, while respecting our community traditions and spirit and leaving the Marine City and St. Clair schools in their current locations. The millage comparison with our surrounding school districts, you can see that East China currently has a 2.08 millage on the left-hand side. And with the possible passage of the March 10th bond, that would be at a 3.58, which is still the lowest of any surrounding school district in our area. You can see the K-Pac and Port Huron, Algonac, Yale, Memphis, Richmond, Marysville, and Anchor Bay at 10 mills. This comparison shows the 2019 summer tax for East China School District, the millage rate. That was 3.24. The district since then, on July 1, retired 1 mil of debt, and property values went up a little bit. So our current tax levy is 2.08 mils. Those are the February winter taxes that are due on the 26th of this month. If this bond were to pass, the new millage rate would be 3.58, which is 0.34 above the summer millage rate of 2019. So if you look from summer of 2019 to the possible passage of this bond proposal to summer of 2020, it would be an increase of 0.34 mils. And I know this slide is a little bit hard to read, but this will break down the monthly and annual increase based on market value and SEV value of a home. And finally, the last slide that I want to share with you tonight is that we have added 2 additional full bond information sessions. One of them will be here this Wednesday at 6 p.m. at Central Office here in this boardroom. And the other one will be at the Emmanuel Lutheran Church on Vine Street in St. Clair at 6:30 p.m. on March 5th. So anyone that's interested in seeing the full bond presentation or would like their questions answered, we have 2 more opportunities for you to see that bond presentation and get those questions answered. May I answer any questions that the board has at this point regarding the bond campaign and the update to the superintendent evaluation on this goal area. Okay, great.
I think we're all set. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mhm.
Okay, the last item on our agenda, the next item on our agenda is closed session for the purpose of discussing a student disciplinary action. Recommended action. A motion is needed that the Board of Education goes into closed session pursuant to Section 8B of the Open Meetings Act, Act 267 of 1976. That being for board discussion connected to the discipline of a student. Mrs. Krantz, would you please do a roll call?
Vice President Eva?
Yes.
Trustee Disselrath?
Yes.
Secretary Refor?
Yes.
Trustee Cedar?
Yes.
Trustee Western?
Yes.
President Frank?
Yes. Okay, so that this time we will go into closed session. When we come back, the next item on our agenda is our next board meeting. We will have a Palms Elementary presentation.